Alright, so now I'm here audibly as well. Yeah, I mean, yesterday I was on for like, it wasn't 4 hours even, it was like was it 4:10 or something? Hold on. Let me open my browser window and check. 4 hours and 23 minutes, so almost four and a half. So my voice was like super dead. Um, and I was kind of like hoarse after. Because if you think about it, that's like, it would be like if you worked, like, I don't even know, on a phone service at a call center or something, like, I don't even know, cell phones, insurance, credit cards, whatever, some kind of Amazon customer service, and had gone through half your shift with no break. Um, it would basically be like that, just nonstop talking. Um, except maybe more talking because at least you would get like maybe rest between calls or something. I don't know. Amazon seems like it's wouldn't give you the breaks you need because it's not an ethical company. But anyway, the point is I had talked myself half to death yesterday. I mean, it was fun. We read a lot of stories, but I was so hoarse. So I've made some, it's green tea with jasmine. It's like loose leaf tea that you get in a canister and you sprinkle the leaves into your, kettle, reservoir, or whatever, and pour the water over it and let it steep. And then it's like tea. It's not like sweet tea or something. So it's like herbal, like, green tea with jasmine. And then I added some honey. I don't have any lemon, but hopefully those two will be enough. I just kind of preemptively made some. Yeep. Also, I got super addicted to playing this mobile game that's literally just pouring different colored liquids into vials. Like, I don't know what's wrong with me, but I just got super into it, and here we are. Um I have been playing that so much. There's like 80 different versions of them. This one's called Water Sort Puzzle. Like, literally that's basically what it is. It's it's like a puzzle game, but with, if it were real life, it would be water with food coloring, I assume. But just like fake liquid that you pour back and forth and like balance it. That's it. That's the game. I'm a simple person. I'm not that hard to please. I'm actually trying to solve my like last, I say my last one, but yeah, my last one for a few hours because I won't be able to play because I won't be able to concentrate and play Animal Crossing and read you ghost stories. So I'm trying to like finish that up as we kind of like just like chat before I switch it over. I mean, I guess I could switch the screen over. But yeah, that's basically what I'm doing in the background. I'm like solving this puzzle real quick before we It's like, let me just get this puzzle done real quick. All right. That's literally what I'm doing. Hmm. Almost done. God, I love these. I enjoy these so much. Too bad these guys don't sponsor people because that would be really cool. Just because it's something I actually use all the time, so I'd actually be able to speak to it instead of like when people get ones where they've obviously not really used it and it shows. God, I love these things. But yeah, what the Pierce? What in the actual? Okay. Anyway, all right, first story by Tim AK87, 13 days ago, an apparition. I started reading this last night, but I'm just gonna start from the beginning because no one's gonna fucking remember that. I don't remember what it said, but I had to kind of cut it off abruptly because my husband really wanted to eat with me. I was just like, I've set. food out on the table. You can go ahead and eat. You don't have to wait on me. Because I don't want, to obviously keep him from eating. And he was like, but I want to, like, eat with my wife. Like, I want to eat with you. I don't just want to eat. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just get off now. And I cut it off. But anyway, here's the story. An apparition. My family moved into an old house we bought from a very elderly widow in the early 90s. Painted over wallpaper, crystal doorknobs with keyholes underneath, questionable wiring, and a big furnace in the basement. Ooh, it sounds like it's kooky. Gotta love those kooky, quirky houses. The front room, where are their quotes? The front room had 4 windows and no wired light fixtures in the ceiling, so it was beautiful in the natural light and abysmally dark in the evening if you didn't turn on a lamp. Oh, that's unfortunate. The stairway heading upstairs had a light at the top that was on as well as the kitchen, which offered a little illumination, but no permanent light fixtures to offer direct light. I feel like I've read offer like 8 times, but I all I can do is read what they write. Okay. Let's see. No direct light. In the corner by the fireplace, really, we had an old console TV with a cable box and VCR to watch all the channels. Hell yeah! I was informed at dinner that the previous owner had died. That evening it was dark and I was sitting on the floor watching something on TV. A translucent apparition, 80%. I love when people just make up a percentage. They just pull one out. Approximately 80% opaque in Photoshop terms. I can't believe they compared her to a Photoshop filter. Bless. Of an older man, 70s or 80s, wearing a suit, walked down the stairs. He was smoking a cigarette and took off his fedora as he looked around. He paid no attention to me, and I quickly ran away to the bathroom at the other side of the house. My only guess is it was her husband taking a look around the place one more time. 2 decades later, I tell my parents about it, who still live there. My mom said she remembered seeing a similar apparition around a similar time frame. Oh, that's interesting. A second boring story. Come on, it's a ghost story. It can't be that boring. I lived in the same house until I went off to college. Every night in bed, I would hear a fast, distant, rhythmic drumming. Didn't sound too different from the distant percussion of high school bands during a football game. It was maybe 120 to 140 beats per second. I assume it was just blood pumping through my ears and my brain did the rest. I eventually moved out and didn't hear it anywhere else I lived. In fact, the blood pumping through my ears just sounds like the normal blub blub of their heartbeat. So now my left field guess is that I was hearing old Iroquois drums. Why would you randomly think it was? That's oddly specific. The hat ghost. Okay. hjgfcv7d54v. Alright. This is my first post, so I don't know if I'm doing this right, but I hope someone can help me find an explanation to the story I'm about to tell. It does have 2 parts, so I'll give context before telling it. I've always been obsessed with the paranormal. I love reading ghost stories, listening to paranormal experiences from other people around the world. Alright, anything I could get my hands on that was even remotely related to ghosts, I was hooked. While I've never seen a shadow figure or heard a voice, there's always been small things that happen in my house that I can't explain. Maybe my door opening on its own, or just feeling someone in the room with me, that sort of thing. However, this story, and just the way it connects, truly gives me an uneasy feeling to this day. Okay? My dad's side of the family is small compared to my mom's. Sorry, that was me moving my legs. He has one sister and she has 2 daughters, one about 7 years older than me and the other 4 years older than me. When my older cousin was younger, I want to say 3 to 4. Okay. And my aunt was pregnant with my younger cousin. They were living in a different house than they are now. All right, where is this going? Hold on. My older cousin was laying down with my aunt in her bedroom, TV off, magazine in hand, nothing abnormal. Out of the blue, my cousin looks up into the doorway of my aunt's room and says that she sees a man. My aunt is confused because she doesn't see anyone. If you're super into paranormal stuff like I am, you know younger or more innocent people are more likely to see things that the less innocent are able to. Of course, my aunt was confused, and my cousin was insisting there was a man in the doorway of the room. My aunt asked my cousin to explain what the man looked like. She said he was tall, wearing a suit, a hat, and specifically. Wait, I'm trying to figure out if I read that wrong. She said he was tall, wearing a suit. Oh, and had a hat, specifically a fedora. I wasn't born when this happened, so this is a story that's been circulating around my family for a while. Flash forward about 20 years or so. I was in the middle of school and I'm home alone with my dad. Okay. I've lived in the same house my whole life, so the creepy experiences I've had in my house have become familiar and they don't scare me anymore. I love how they're like same shit, different day. They just don't even care anymore. However, this one night truly got me nervous and it was really out of the blue. I'm sitting in the TV room while my dad is in the kitchen waiting for food to be delivered. Okay. I got up from the TV room and walked into the kitchen. My dad was sitting down looking out the kitchen window. I assumed he was just watching the cars go by on our street. An important part of this story is the door that leads to my kitchen. We have a set of small steps that are in our driveway. They lead up to a glass door that sits in front of a heavy door on the inside of our house. Okay, let's see. The glass door was closed, but the wooden one was open, giving anyone sitting at the kitchen table a full view into our driveway. Aw, thank you, Scott. I appreciate the follow. Let's see. Let me just break in and say, I feel like that has so much creep potential. I hope they close that at night so, like, random, actual living people who are creepy are not just, like, creeping on them and watching them through it, because I don't think I could live like that. I closed the wooden door because it was cold and the glass door was so old that it didn't shut properly and would let in a draft. Okay. Immediately after I shut the door, my dad told me to open it. I was confused since the food wasn't there and it's not like we were expecting anyone. I asked him why and he said in a very normal tone that there was a man there. I told him that there wasn't anyone there and that he was freaking me out. He insists he saw a man standing in front of the glass door looking into the house. So why would you leave it open? He then goes on to tell me that when I closed the door, he was gone. We live on the main road, so anyone passing by could easily come up to our door. Yeah, that's creepy for like non-paranormal reasons. But why would you leave it open? Whether it's a living person or a ghost, if someone's staring into your house, why leave the door open? That's weird. Your dad's weird. Why is he like this? Um, wow. However, with the layout of our house in comparison to our driveway, it's simply impossible for there to be a person on our steps 1 minute and not there the next. I was freaked out by this point, and my dad was a jokester and doesn't believe in ghosts, but hearing something like this come from him was out of line. He then points out exactly how tall the man was and even what he looked like. He said he had dark skin, gray hair, and was wearing a suit and hat. Why are these ghosts always dapper? What is going on? Shortly after he told me about this, I'm sorry, but why are they always wearing a suit? I texted my mom because I was so freaked out. Later on, my dad came into the TV room to eat dinner with me. I asked him if he was really being serious about the whole thing, and he said he was. My cousin and my dad saw the same ghost 20 years apart, and it really creeps me out. The one thing about this story that I can't ask my dad about, um, sorry, I think I left out a word. One thing about the story is that I can't ask my dad about it now as he has died a few years after it happened. I've done research and apparently a ghost who wears a hat could be a sign of childhood trauma. What? But to my knowledge, my older cousin and dad haven't experienced any sort of significant trauma. I have more ghost stories from the past and more recent ones, but this has been the scariest one so far. I don't know if it's scary per se, since they didn't do anything, but definitely creepy that people can just stare into your house. That's a little weird. I don't think I would like that. Hey, Magic Cat, I was wondering where you went. You disappeared for a while. You said a fine gentleman, a fine gentleman even in the afterlife. Let me just, I feel like I haven't recovered from yesterday. Let me sip some tea. Ugh, I feel like my voice cracked, like I was going through puberty again or something. So I was like, let me get some tea. Hmm. I don't know. I'm just like, why do all these ghosts have like suits and hats? Like, what is going on? Creepy, unexplained childhood experience. Hydrixie, I guess, posted this 2 hours ago. Okay then. By the way, I'm on our ghost story instead of our paranormal. You were watching a video while waiting for me? Aw. I think I'm actually, yeah, I'm earlier than I was yesterday. By like, I don't even know. An hour? Hour and a half? I don't even know. What were you watching, by the way? Might as well ask before I get into the story. Because I don't want to ask while I'm reading. Like, I don't want to cut into it too much. A lot earlier. Yeah, yeah. I was a lot earlier today. I thought about coming on even earlier, but I wanted to get my like steps in and get my walking out of the way for today because I always I know most people try to get 10,000 steps. My daily step goal is actually 15,000. So, I was just getting my steps out of the way. But, yeah. Or I would have been here an additional hour earlier. What do you mean just British people? What about British people? I swear you're obsessed with British people. Anyway, back to the story. So this story starts off when I was about 6 or 7 years old. A bit of backstory: when I was younger, every time I would get sick, I would experience Alice in Wonderland syndrome. Google if you don't know what it is. Very strange phenomena. And I would spend all day curled in a ball in my room crying because I couldn't make sense of my surroundings. Well, one of these times I'd come down with a stomach bug and started experiencing really intense visual distortions. My mother sat with me for a few hours trying to calm me down until eventually I fell asleep from pure exhaustion. Jesus Christ. I feel tired just reading that. This poor person. After I fell asleep, I slipped into a very vivid lucid dream where my bedroom floor collapsed off into an endless void and I ended up walking around on the sides of the wall. Very strange, I know. Well, this scared me to the core, and in my dream, I remember running into my parents' room to look for help, and when I walked in the room, it was completely normal, like it was real life, except in the corner room next to my, excuse me, of the room, next to my parents' bed, there was a dark figure standing there watching over my parents sleeping. What is with the creeping? It was at this point I started screaming and woke up. Actually stood there in my parents' room, but the figure was gone. So you like, I guess the fever dream version of sleepwalking. You sleepwalk to your parents' room during a fever dream. Anyway, my parents tried to calm me down and figure out what was wrong, but I was so distressed I couldn't explain what I saw, and they ended up putting me back to bed, and went back to normal after that. After a while, I just assumed I was sleepwalking and what I saw was just a dream, so I forgot about it and never brought it up to my mom. That was until a couple of years ago the topic of Alice in Wonderland syndrome came up. Okay, wait. When I was speaking to mom and I started to remember that dream and brought it up to her, thinking it would just get a small laugh and nothing serious. But after I said it, my mom's face just dropped and a serious expression washed over her. She then explained that when we moved into the house, she experienced some very paranormal things happening. So she phoned the local priest who came down to try and cleanse the house. Jesus, she thought it was bad. I don't really know about this stuff, so bear with me. Well, after being there a while, the priest let us know the house was. Oh my god. Why are y'all like this? I'm sorry, but why are Christians like this? He accused the previous owners of being devil worshippers? So basically, there's nothing wrong with the house. I swear to God, they think everyone's a quote unquote devil worshipper. Ugh. How would he even? He just says this with zero evidence. He just accused the previous owner. What the hell? Anyway, he claims they tried summoning spirits in my parents' bedroom. Apparently, he could feel the I can't take him seriously since he said that. He could feel the presence of a dark spirit standing in the corner of my parents' bedroom, the same corner I saw the entity in my dream. I'm sorry, but as soon as he said that, I couldn't take it seriously. I don't know why they always accuse everyone of being devil worshippers, quote unquote, and summoning shit. I'm just like, dude, that's not even how it works. Anyway, I still get goosebumps to this day thinking about that. I thought it was just a nightmare, but an actual priest described the exact thing I saw in my dream. Very creepy. It reminds me of the Insidious films. Then she said, or they said, sorry, maybe I actually entered the farther. I don't know, but I'm just sitting here dying over the priest being like, devil worship! Like, bro, no. They had me rolling. I can't believe he really just sat there accusing the previous owners of being quote unquote devil worshippers. Like, what the actual hell? I just always find it so irritating. I truly do. Especially since most people wouldn't know how to identify an actual Satanist if they came out and, like, bit off the tip of their finger. Like, dude. Anyway, Magic Hat said girl dreaming while sick is something. I know, I had some weird ass dreams when I was sick too. I just didn't have any, like, waking visual distortions like this person did. Nah, they were living through their fever dream. Hmm. Paranormal activity that lasted years when I was younger, this says. Hmm. Magic has said everything is a devil to people who can't accept other beliefs. This is true. This is true. Yeah, my biological mother is one of those people who will basically accuse anyone and everyone of being a quote unquote Satanist. And I say quote unquote because it's like, it's not, regardless of how you feel about Satanism, it's not even actually Satanism. She will literally accuse other religion just because they're not her religion. She will accuse them of being Satanists. That's what that priest sounds like to me. He was like, "Oh yeah, the previous owners, they were Satan." Like, it just felt so random. Like, you don't know them. You never encountered them. Like, what? I don't know. It just seemed kind of like buck wild and random. It just, like, irritates me. It's just always such a weird random accusation for me. Everything is not Satanism. Like, it's, y'all are too much. All right, let's see. Who posted this? Okay character? I love Reddit names. Let's see. It says, so you don't have to believe me. Well, no shit. But I remember it like it happened yesterday. It happened for years when I was younger. I would say from the ages of 5 to 8. I lived with my mom, two out of three of my brothers, and her friend's boyfriend, and her three boys. What the hell? The whole fucking tribe was crammed into this house, I guess. That's a lot of people. So it was five boys and me, so I always slept by myself. Every night I would wake up to a little boy sobbing and saying no, and a woman's voice saying shh, or I'm almost done. Um, that sounds alarming for a completely different reason. Hearing that honestly makes me wonder if something else was going on. Something much darker and horrible. That's alarming. That is completely alarming to me. Holy hell. That's what you heard? I don't like that. I don't like that. That doesn't bode well. That seems ominous for a totally different reason. Anyway, obviously I was terrified, so I always slept with my mom. So one night my mom gets up to go to the bathroom and I follow her. On the way back to her room, I look inside this one room, which wasn't a bedroom or anything. It was kind of like a playroom, and I see the black silhouette of a little boy standing there staring at us. The next morning, I'm the only one awake because I was terrified. As I'm laying in bed looking out into the hall, you know when the hall just ends, it's a wall. I saw the same black silhouette of a little boy come out of that wall and just walk down the hallway straight ahead of him. Then the next night I was laying in bed with my mom, hearing the same woman and wow, sorry, I just stuttered. And little boy, and out of nowhere I just hear a woman's voice saying mine in my ear. Uh she said no one ever believed me because they never saw or heard anything until my mom's friend's boyfriend finally admitted that he's up late at night and he sees sketchy shit too. That, oh god, okay. I don't even want to think about what was happening. That sounds like some kind of echo of previous events, and they just sound completely unpleasant. Um, wow, that's a lot to take in. I'm just sitting here secondhand traumatized from this post. Okay. Uh, that was creepy for all the wrong reasons. I'm deeply disturbed. Okay. Mm, here's one. I think it's supposed to spell out anomaly or something with some like extra syllables, but they use numbers instead of letters, whatever. Ghost in my bedroom? A person who hates me hired a shaman to send a ghost to visit me? What? This already sounds wild. What you mean? I don't, is that a thing? I mean, I guess that technically makes sense. I mean, it's the equivalent of hiring a witch to curse you, right? And that's definitely a thing. Hmm. While laying in my bedroom, I felt I was being attacked by this entity. Okay, I feel kind of bad for them, but okay. It was like a jump scare from ghost movies where they insert a couple of frames of the ghost's face into the scene to strike you unknowingly. I did see the face and hear the scream flashing in my mind for a second or two, exactly like in those movies, enough to make me flinch, and there's definitely some light flashing over my body. Some days later, my adversary? What are you, a cartoon villain? My adversary. Taunted me that she knew every detail in my house and how I reacted to the encounter through the recounting of the shaman she hired, though I'm not sure whether it was actually a ghost or an astral projection of said shaman. I was told that the entity, whatever that was, not only sees everything in my house in detail, it knows my thoughts, my past reincarnations, and my future. Since my adversary could surprisingly indicate key events in my future accurately through the recounting of the shaman. This is just kind of random. It's kind of random. Also, oddly specific. I was just dying over them using the word adversary like they're a cartoon villain. My adversary. I don't know why that tickles me so much, but it does. It's just kind of. It's kind of corny. I'm sorry. It kind of is. My adversary. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let's see. Let's skip that one. Is this something about running from the cops? So, um, let's see. This one is just labeled George. What? let's not. No. Hmm. Sorry, I'm looking for a new one. Mm. Okay, it says Happy Halloween. I'll share an old story. Okay. I wonder if it's theirs or someone else's. This isn't very long, but I remember it being really strange and kind of scary. So, we only lived in this house for a couple of years. We moved in when I was 10 or 11. Sorry. I'm gonna stop right here because one of my pet peeves. This is so stupid and picky, but they put the number 10 but then wrote out the word 11 and it's just bothering me. I'm sorry. I know it's stupid, but it's just I read it and got really annoyed. Sorry. So we only lived in this house for a couple of years. We moved in when I was 10 or 11 and left before I turned 13. My bed was closer to the bedroom door and his was closer to the window. Oh, whoop, skipped a line. Brother and I shared a bedroom on the second floor. There we go. My bed was closer to the door and his was closer to the windows. I honestly don't know how I would feel about that. Because if you're by the window, then you're the first one that someone comes across if they climb in through the window. But if you're by the door and they come through the house, then you're the first one they come across. So it's like the safest place to sleep could be the middle of the bed, unless you're thinking about the best way to escape. Anyway, one night I was laying in bed, all of the lights were out, and our bedroom door was open. See, this is why I close my bedroom door. The head of my bed was positioned against the same wall as the door. Really? So I couldn't see into the hall unless I sat up in bed and turned towards it. As I was lying in bed, I began to hear music coming from downstairs. Music? The ghost was jamming out. I recognized it as a song that plays in a certain town in one of the video games that we had for the PS2. I felt pretty spooked because I was like, WTF, how is that possible? No one's downstairs. I think I was too afraid to wake my brother, and eventually, I guess I just fell asleep. This didn't happen often, it only happened maybe a couple more times. I forget, but each time I felt a sense of dread, the sort of fear that grips you and stops you from moving. I would pass it off as some type of auditory hallucination, but my older sister came to visit once, and me, her, and my brother were all downstairs in the living room, and we were staying up kind of late. The conversation had turned to ghosts and the paranormal when suddenly the music started to play. Hold on. From upstairs. It wasn't the same song that I would always hear. This time it was short music that, excuse me, the sort of music that my sister listened to. Well, what kind of music does she listen to? Because I'm just imagining the ghost randomly playing like country or rap. When it started playing, we all suddenly paused in what we were saying, and there was an uneasy silence between us as we listened. But then one of my siblings started talking again, and we all went on like nothing had happened. I guess the music eventually faded. I love how the ghost was like, "Hey, I'm here," and they just all decide to ignore it. They just collectively just... Okay. I can't help but wonder what I would have seen, if anything, had I gone to the living room by myself one of those nights. Fuck that. Also, I don't know why, but my brain just automatically went to like a real living person, like sneaking into their house at night and playing their video games whilst everyone was sleeping. Um, I don't know why, but that's what I thought of. I just thought of someone just coming in to play their video games, and that's what they were hearing. Although it'd be weird for them to play through the same part of the game over and over unless they have like OCD or something. Hmm. Oop. Is the screen sticking? Oh, no, I'm just literally at the bottom. Cool. Uh, hmm. Come on, come on, come on, come on. I'm gonna try to catch this between posts because I need to find another good one, but or failing that, if there aren't enough new posts, I don't know. I suppose I can go try to find some older ones, or failing that, I can just look for stories online. But this is so annoying. What is this thing? Come on, this is God. This is annoying. Ah! Hold on. I'm gonna grab this and then go back for it. This is just so annoying. Here's one. Couldn't sleep that night. Posted by Snoo Cauliflowers 8174. Love that. My ex and I were together for about 4 years from 2007 to 2011. One night she had mentioned her and her mom had lived in a house that was so haunted they just got used to it after a while and would actually speak to some of the ghosts. I thought they were full of shit, and when I was around her and her mom together, I never experienced anything they had mentioned, but something that did happen personally one night when I was staying at her house. Okay, so you didn't believe them basically until something happened with you there. We slept in the finished basement, and one night around 2 a.m., I woke up and couldn't go back to sleep. So I grabbed a pillow and blanket and took the upstairs couch. While I was laying there, I remember being fully awake and feeling uneasy. All of a sudden, my body locked up and I couldn't move. I felt the presence of something right by me, but I couldn't do anything. Finally, as soon as I was able to move again, I heard this. Hold on. I heard this extremely. I lost my place. Loud whooshing sound, and it went right into the kitchen behind me. I got up and stood there for 5 minutes before I decided to get my stuff and head back downstairs. That's a little anticlimactic. I thought there'd be more to it. Like you just heard noises. Boo. Where's the suffering? Kidding. But also, mm, supernatural experience that made you stop using Ouija boards. I've never actually used one, but ah. There's actually 67 comments on this thread. I don't know if I actually want to go through them though. Like, do I care? Am I invested? I don't I don't know if I am. Lady Gray Smith said both of my parents are terrible people who barely qualify as human because of how cruel they love to be, but they're scared of those boards after some freaky crap that happened after different times of using them. Anything that can terrify those monsters is nothing I want anything to do with. Honestly, it sounds like your parents deserve to be scared. Just saying. Sounds like they were probably abusing her, so they deserve to be scared. Fuck them. Moral said, listen, my dad is the toughest dude that hates everyone and everything, never gets sick, and never complains about anything. He would not allow me to bring one into the house. I was actually surprised hold on. He got so freaking mad when he saw one in that house. He screamed at me. Standard says, mine too, wouldn't even let us watch movies about them. Then someone just said, don't open doors you might not be able to close. I mean, honestly, it's not the board itself. It's not the board itself. Also, you don't even need a board to fuck around and find out. Just saying. I don't know. I just kind of find the thread boring because I don't know. I'm not impressed. Yeah, I'm bored. Moving on. Why does this one make me think of Magic Cat? Like, just the title. I haven't read the post, but it says, quote, I can see ghosts and want to unsee them real bad. Makes me think of Magic Cat. It really does. Anyway, Bitter as B posted posted this 4 days ago. Hey, Magic Cat. I see that you have returned. It says hello. I-22F am seeing. That's a weird way to phrase that. Wouldn't you have said, like, have been seeing? Whatever. I'm seeing ghosts from my childhood, but always ignored them thinking they were real people. Okay. Every Sorry. Let's see. Thinking they were real people and that everyone can see them until I was 20. Before 20, I stopped seeing them as maybe I forgot I could see them. At 20 years, I had a really bad phase and battled with depression for a bit. What does that mean there's no room here? I used to be home alone as my parents were working people. Okay. I used to constantly see shadows moving and condense spots. What does that mean? At home, but used to ignore it. Condense spots. What does condense spots mean? What? What do you mean by that? I also discussed it with my astrologer. Your astrologer? Okay. And he confirmed my birth chart had certain combinations that triggered these phenomena. After that, I invited a healer slash psychologist for a home visit, and she also confirmed that my house had more than 4 spirits and was on. Wait, what? Oh, I guess she's a psychologist by trade, but she's a spiritual healer as a part of her spiritual or religious practice? I guess? Question mark? I don't know. I feel like that's what she's trying to convey, but it's just very poorly explained. Since then, I took these incidents a little seriously, but mostly ignored them as they don't harm me, but just try to mess with my thoughts and keep them on the lower spectrum. It bothers me a little. I don't know what to do. Um, this is a little weird. Don't know what to do as I'm a little scared and tired of these things happening. Anyone wondering what I see? I see an old man with a suit. What is with dapper ghosts? An old man with a suit outside my door on the balcony. Why are they all dapper? A middle-aged lady standing in the corner, occasionally roaming around the house. A white ghost on the stairs. What is it with the old person in the suit? What? Magic Cat said, today while talking to BF, I saw a shadow go on the... Ah, damn it. The fish. I lost the fish. A shadow go in the way to my room. Interesting. And you said, I thought I was crazy, but I saw a shadow of a cat walk past me. Ah. So, do you think that the spirit that used to be in your house like followed you then? Or what? Or do you think it's a new spirit? What do you mean we have back season 2? What do you mean by that? You mean because there's a spirit again? Or what do you mean? I'm gonna drop my thing here. Oh, crap. Looked less tall than the spirit from before. Mmm. So a new one then. Does this mean spirits are just attracted to Magic Cat or what? I really want to get this one. You said please no. So for anyone who isn't aware, Magic Cat's here basically every stream. Well, no, literally every stream. And in past streams, she has talked about how there were like spirits at her old house. And basically how after she moved, it seemed like there were no spirits at the new house. And now she's saying it seems like there may be one or two spirits at the new house, or that it sounds like there may be. Then she said, please no. Because she's, kind of maybe slightly afraid of spirits. She always calls herself a quote unquote puss. I always just say scaredy cat, but I guess that's the same difference. Come on. Come on. Oh, damn it. Sorry, I did it too soon. I totally expected it to clench then, and then it didn't, and it kind of just ruined it. Magic Hat said, it's weird because I only saw them in this area. I didn't see them in our house far from here. Interesting. I'm gonna take a break from reading for a few minutes just for like the sake of my voice because of the continuous reading kind of like drains me. I'm gonna drink some tea. I thought I put enough things out, but I guess not. I need to go to the store is what I need to do. In the game, not like, not the store. You said, to be fair, I was chilling in my brother's dark room talking to BF. Yeah. Aren't spirits drawn to your brother and mother anyway? I feel like it was inevitable. Sorry. Inevitable. It was inevitable that there would be another spirit for you, for y'all. Because if y'all don't know, Magic Cat's like relatives are able to like see slash sense spirits. So I don't know. Spirits seem to like you. Nothing wrong with that. Magic Hat said, "I'm not part of this. I'm just a puss." I mean, spirits can like someone regardless of how cowardly or brave they may or may not be. Just saying. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Magic Hat put the little sad goat emote. Hey, that rhymes. Sad goat emote. Anyway, why are you so sad? Sad goat emote. Sad goat emote. I don't know why, but that's just funny now. Well, I suppose it's not funny to you, but it's funny to me. Which probably just makes me sound like an asshole. Oh well. I kind of am an asshole. Sell. Let's see. So far, you've seen them twice. Hmm. I assume you mean the spirits by the 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 spirit that you were talking about seeing recently. Jeez Louise. Come on. It's so tiny. Hey. You said at that point it felt like normal. Yeah. Ooh. Finally. What's the next one? 5,000? Yeah, I figured. I might go to a mystery island today. We'll see. Yeah, I just kind of wanted to rest my voice for a few minutes. That and I feel like I was having trouble finding some some good ones, some good posts, some fresh posts because I don't want to just read the same shit over and over, you know? Kind of sad there's not like a longer post chain with like updates to look through, but alas, I can't read what isn't there. Didn't get sus vibes. I guess you mean from the like spirit that you saw? You didn't get sus vibes from them? Yeah, 'cause some spirits are just straight up sus. Just straight up creeping. Just shady as shit. Ooh. I We must have already caught one. Better question is, did we give it to Blathers? I just gotta double check. Hold on. Yep, we did. Blathers already has one. Nice. That means I get to keep it all to myself. Heh. Okay. Nope, it just walked by, you said. Yeah, I wasn't doing anything particularly shady, I suppose. Just walking here. Hmm. I think I already told you about the one time when I was I'm trying to remember. How old was I? I just remember one time being at home and seeing a small, it looked like a small shadow going down the hallway. And when I say home, I don't mean like it was a home to me. It's just it was where I grew up. It was the house where I grew up. I remember seeing a small shadow going along the wall as if someone were walking down the hallway. And it's not like I lived in a house with like 80 people. It was literally just me and my mom at that point. And, you know, my mom was standing next to me, so obviously she's not the one going down the fucking hallway, you know, and I didn't have any animals at that point. So, you know, who or what was it kind of thing. But that's it. Like that's all there was to that encounter. Nothing sus happened, nothing creepy, wasn't scared, wasn't traumatized. That's literally all there was to it. Just a shadow going down the hallway. To be fair, she had said at some point during my childhood like the house is 30 years old or something. I don't actually know if anyone died in the house. I know there were three older relatives who used to live there who were dead, but that doesn't mean they died in the house. I have no idea if they died in the house or if they just used to live there but died somewhere else. Like, I don't know. Either way, it definitely wasn't any of them because it was a small ass shadow. Hold on. Like, it was definitely not an adult human. Just saying. Alright, what'd you say, Magic Cat? You said, oh, my cousin cat kittens. Got, not cat. My cousin got kittens. Aw. Wait, so as in she just got two pet kittens, or as in her cat had kittens? Because those aren't technically the same, which is why I'm asking for clarification. We have like 6 slots. Okay, that's doable. Mm. God, I remember when I was first getting together with my husband. He obviously wasn't my husband then. He was renting, technically, he was renting a room inside of a house, but it was his apartment, quotes. It's like a one room apartment, communal bathroom kind of thing, is basically how you could look at it. But I was there, I was over all the time whilst he was renting this room. Like, I slept there so many nights. Um, but the point is, that place did actually have spiritual activity. There was this creepy ass spirit there that just loved to come down while we were in the kitchen. And you know the sensation you have when someone's watching you and you know someone is watching you that you normally get when, like, I don't know, say you're on the bus and you look up and someone is staring at you and you can like feel it because it's a part of your like primal like monkey brain or whatever. You know when someone's watching you with intent when they're staring at you. You know what I mean? You can feel it. That's what it felt like. It felt like someone was like an inch away from our face and just staring intensely at us. Just staring. Just standing there staring. That's what it felt like. Obviously, we didn't see anything. Neither one of us saw it, but we could both feel it. We both sensed it, like me and him. It wasn't just me or just him, it was both of us. Like one of us would go, do you feel that? Or do you feel anything? And then the other one would be like, oh, you mean da 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 da, and then we would confirm. And like we both very much sensed this presence. And it's not like it did anything to overtly harm us. It was just very creepy and very intense and just acting really weird, you know? And 'cause like if a living human being was doing that, was just coming up to you and staring intensely 1 inch from your face, you'd think they were a fucking weirdo, right? Right. Okay. Well, anyway, same thing but spirit. I actually did end up banishing that spirit because it was just so creepy, and it would do that not only every time we were in the kitchen, but it would also follow us into the bathroom and like watch us whilst we were showering as well. Like we could feel the same presence with us in the bathroom while we were like showering or brushing our teeth or whatever. And it was just very uncomfortable. Like it was just very awkward and we both hated it. And I was basically like, you know what? Fuck this. So, what I actually did at that point, God, I don't even remember what I did to do it. I don't even remember what I did. I just know that I got fed up with feeling constantly hounded by this presence, like both of us. It was just very uncomfortable because imagine any time that you need to go to the kitchen or the bathroom. Do you know how often during the day or night that someone goes to the kitchen or the bathroom when they're at home? Just to do anything, to brush your teeth, to comb your hair, to, I don't know, rinse out your eye because you accidentally got soap in it washing dishes like I did the other night. Or anytime you go to the kitchen, even for a glass of water or just to pass through, like it was just uncomfortable. You know, no one wants to deal with that. So I do remember banishing it. I just don't remember what I did to banish it. But I know I did. And then I cleansed the space, and then I put up protections because I was just not having it. I was like, this is stupid. We're both uncomfortable. Just get out. You know, let's just get it out. Let's just clear the air. Um, And what was so interesting is whilst I was putting up protections, I noticed that there was this poster hanging in the bathroom that felt very creepy and eerie, and it just felt, I don't know how to explain it to people who maybe don't understand what I mean because they're not into like a bunch of like spiritual or religious stuff, but to me it felt like an opening, like a doorway or a window. And I was like, "Ah, this is how he got in." Cuz I sensed that the my sense and his my um then boyfriend's, who now husband's, sense of the spirit was that it was male. I was like, this is how he got in. This is an opening. For some reason, this is an opening of some kind. This is how he got in. I don't know why, but anyway, so I had to ward the damn poster because, renting. It's not like we can just take it down. It's part of the decorations that came with the house. It wasn't ours. Um, so I feel like I did actually end up cleansing the hell out of that poster though, and then I put some protections up directly, like either underneath it, or I slipped something behind it since I wasn't allowed to take it off the wall. I was done. I was through. I was like, this is stupid. There's no reason we need to be this uncomfortable in a place that we are staying. Well, I didn't live there, but you know what I mean. Like it was aggravating. Um so yeah. All right, let me go back to Magic Cat. Magic Cat said, yes, two pet kittens. I got to name one. Aw, what did you name it? What'd you name the kitten? Excuse me. Whew, sorry, that came on suddenly. There's a, what is that? Grasshopper, cricket, locust? I can't tell. There we go. I was wondering if I'd actually catch it. Your cousin named the sister Lizzie. Aw, and you named it Pixie. Cute. So cute. Did I just whack Faith in the head? My bad. Damn it. Oh well. Trying to think of some other. Trying to see if there's literally any other. I feel like I haven't had tons and tons of like harrowing encounters of like, and then I fist fought it kind of thing. Like, you know? Magic Cat said, hold on. And Mom's spoiled cat went to another person. What? What do you mean? Oh, you mean the cat that doesn't usually like interact with other people actually went to someone else for like attention? Ah, damn it. Oh, they went to. What do you mean? Went to someone else's house? For what? The other one that doesn't like people is with you. Yeah. What time is it again? Mm, okay. Sorry, I'm just sitting here like I don't really. Sometimes I don't know what to say. To mate. Oh, y'all keep making more and more kittens. I hope you have some place for these kittens to go. Okay. I'm really hoping that I can go into shore without scaring this fish away so I can catch the fish. There we go. Huh, it did disappear. Oh, no, it didn't. Oh, well. I didn't realize it was further out. I thought it had already disappeared. Oh, well. I feel kind of tired. Also, let me just. Mm, no, I guess I can have her swim to it while I. Yeah, there we go. Wanted to turn the fan on. What'd you say? The black cat is scared of people, and if I leave to do something, she'll meow and cry. Aw, she doesn't want to be left alone. Then you said, I think my anxiety got to her. Rip? Does she have separation anxiety? Like, in general, does she have separation anxiety? Also, I know you said she didn't care for anyone, but are you sure she's not, like, attached to you? Alright. Well, you talk about your cat's anxiety. I did find this is tagged as an experience, The Memory Ghost by Commander PG or Command RPG, not really sure. 5 days ago. So this is a really weird story about this ghost, but it started when I was 12 and ends around 3 months ago. When I was a kid, I would always hang at my best friend's house. His dad was a retired basketball player, so his house was massive. When I turned 12, my friend's mom and sister moved into this house that was newly built across from this gated community I used to live in. I don't live there anymore. They all sound rich. Anyway, about 2 months after the house was newly built, I came over to visit. We played Mario Kart. Oh, that's beautiful. And Smash, and my mom and me kind of stayed over longer than we thought, and so we had to leave. But I wanted to explore the house a bit more. It's no secret that I was tired. I went into this closet and heard a slight laughing. It could have come from another room, but I remember my friend's cousin wasn't staying over. That's when I saw this girl around my age at this time swinging on a swing set, almost hovering above me. It was as if she was a fragment of reality, completely intangible, naturally. It was as if I was peering into a window of time. I never told my mom about it because I brushed it off as something that was just whatever, but I kept thinking about it. The girl was white or Hispanic, and I think, and she wore this dress straight out of Little House on the Prairie. At least it gave me those vibes. Nothing crazy happened again for at least for at least a year and a half. I had gone over to that house multiple times by then, but eventually, when I was 14, I saw her again, and it looked as if she was being dressed in fancy clothes. Um, and makeup by an older sister. Then I remembered she looked similar to the ghost I saw back then. But the thing that really interested me was it was as if the ghost memory presence was aging with me. That's when I started to think that if I did see a ghost, then ghosts can be fragments of memories from long past as well as wandering souls. What? I mean, that's kind of what I mean by like echoes, that there can be echoes of events. Anyway, 2 years after that, I saw her again, looking noticeably older. She looked to be running off to see a boy or whatever. One thing these situations had in common was all these events were at night when I was completely alone in a room. At that point, I thought that this couldn't be a coincidence. When I turned 18, I entered a really stressful period of my life. I was getting ready for college. I emancipated myself from my dad, but my mom was going through breast cancer and I had to play damage control for some of my fucked up family members. I could feel myself breaking down and I didn't have a place to stay at the moment. That brings us back to this house again. I slept in the guest room no one really got to sleep in. I could barely get any sleep. The fear of what could happen to my mom kept me awake. Then, one night, I didn't know how long I was awake. I was really groggy. The ghost appeared hovering over me while I was still in bed, refusing to make a move. It was practically a stare down. I was unnerved but not unhappy to see her. She was older, my age again. When I woke up, I have no idea when I went to sleep. I felt weighed down, and my clothes looked as if I had, ew, a spicy dream, which I hadn't had in a long time. I forgot about the ghost when I entered college. My mom beat cancer, and I got a film degree. I was ready for the next stage of my life. My friend's family even left that house. It was a few months ago that I told my mom this story after we were driving back from storage. She rolled her eyes at the spicy dream part. Who could blame her? But every other part of the story, she was unusually stone faced. She asked me what she looked like, and I told her. My mom responded by saying my friend's mom and sister heard about the land or the house being haunted by some girl wearing a dress by people who knew about it. When they moved there, they were warned but laughed it off. However, for some reason, no one lived in that house. Excuse me. No one who lived in that house got to see her. And yet I did every 2 years. That made me rethink a lot of things. The only reason I didn't see her again was because I was in college. So, have similar ghosts appeared in your lives? What do you think? Why do you think she appeared to me and showed me those memories? Is she real? I don't even know her name. I mean, to be fair, if other people knew about her without you saying anything, then yeah, she's got to be real. It's not because the other conclusion to come to is that somehow people read your mind and got your memories without you saying anything to then talk about her, which doesn't make any fucking sense. So clearly she exists outside of your mind because other people knew about her without you saying anything. Anyway, Snoo Cauliflower says maybe you have some kind of connection to her. She obviously wanted you to see her and no one else. I would definitely get in contact with the medium and talk to them. Then OP said, I always thought after the fourth encounter that her showing me her memories from her life was a sign of trust between us. Why me, I don't know, but yeah, contacting a medium is a good idea. Interesting. You said, whoa, man, spicy dream. That's not even how they worded it, but I thought the way I worded it was more tame and audience appropriate. Anyway, let me go back to what you said. You said, wow, I feel special. I didn't notice any anxiety in her, but mom says she cries if I leave. Aw, yeah, she's attached to you. Sent you pic of my black cat and Lizzie and Pixie. Jesus Christ. Ah, okay. Let me grab this up here and then I'll look at the picture. Kitty pictures. Okay. Let's see. I'm looking at the Discord. Oh. Aww! My crops are watered. Okay, we need to go back to land because I have like 3 slots left. Oh, well, we're about to take up one of them. I know. The little angels, they're so tiny. Magic Cat sent me kitten pictures. My soul is renewed. Ayo. There are 6. Okay, so we did get all of them. Hmm. Magic wants more black cats. I'm glad. I love black cats. But I feel like way too many people are scared of them. It's completely nonsensical. It's just a cat. It can't be evil just because of its coloring. That's fucking stupid. Yeah. I don't tend to call people names on this channel, but just so you know, if you're someone that thinks an animal is evil just because it has black fur, you're a moron and I hate you. Anyway, y'all don't know how many black cats get like abused or attacked because people think they're evil just because they're black. Ooh, Magic Cat had a dream of a black cat. Nice. What'd you dream about? Like what did it do? Anything? Talk to me. Cause the next post is about I'm not really sure. Something about a voice over the phone or something. But I'm waiting a few minutes to start it. I'm trying to pace myself so that my voice doesn't run out. Because all the tea in the world isn't gonna completely erase the strain. What'd you say? She looked tiny and was walking around me, but when I tried taking it, it ran off. Aww. I'm sorry. Cool. I think I got all of the closest orange trees. Besides the one on the cliff, but that doesn't really count because I don't have room. I'll come back for you. Sad goat. Magic Cat posts sad goat. Are you a sad goat or a happy goat? Nice. Dun 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 dun. You said Magic doesn't like goats, but this one is cute. I honestly already forgot which animals you said creeped you out. Like, not gonna lie, I already forgot. You told me, and I know you told me, and I just kind of forgot. I do remember you saying you were, like, afraid of certain animals, right? Or found them unsettling or something. Or was that a different person? It may have been more than one of you, honestly. I probably could plant more of these. Don't know if I will, though. Because I'd have to figure out where I'd want to put them, and I just don't know. There should be 15. There we go. Okay, now there's 18. And that's correct. What? Oh, I selected the axe instead. I was Naked Shirt Man. Thanks for the follow. I love people's screen names. Magic Hat said, "Listen, ma'am, I'm afraid of the horn. I'm afraid the horn will go somewhere it's not supposed to. I'm not risking it." So basically, you're afraid of being gored by this animal, is what I'm hearing. Ah, You missed us sharing our own ghostly encounters earlier. Have you had any spooky encounters you want to share? I'm just waiting on a response. Ugh. I keep trying to find. There aren't as many newer posts, so I'm trying to find like older ones that I haven't read yet. God. It doesn't help that we've just gone through so many. Like, this one's literally from 20 days ago. But we haven't done it yet, so thought about looking at it. But yeah, there's so many of these are grayed out because we already looked at it. Hmm. How long? Oh, God. Why is everything crammed into one paragraph? No, we're not doing that one. That's too hard to read. You said you got that fear from them ramming our service lady? Oh, so you've actually seen a goat attack someone else whilst you were watching. It attacked someone, and now you're scared of goats. Well, at least we know where the fear comes from. She was running away from them, but slipped, and MF took the charge. Uh, and this is why Magic Hat's terrified of goats. Good to know. Um, okay, so it's not just some random irrational fear, it is from a traumatic experience. This is, see, this is like how I'm uneasy around medium to large size dogs because my grandmother was actually attacked by a dog. There's two reasons I'm uneasy around a lot of dogs. Um Especially if they're big enough to tackle you. But yeah, she was actually attacked by one of her neighbor's dogs because the neighbor is one of those people who doesn't really take proper care of their dog, and their dog's kind of just like always chained up to like a tree out back, and they never let it go for a run or take it to the park or take it on walks or whatever. It's just always sitting there. Um, and animal control doesn't do anything. Like if you call them and tell them, like they don't do anything. So, so you know, and one of the dogs got free, and it attacked her and her dog. Like it attacked her and it attacked her dog because she had a Chihuahua actually. And both her and her dog got mauled um by this other dog. And luckily, it didn't have like rabies or anything. I don't actually know why it attacked. Like, I don't know if it was feeling territorial or what, but it wasn't actually like it didn't do it because of anything infectious. So, luckily they were okay. They made it through with just some like bite wounds. Well, she made it through with just some bite wounds. The little dog had bite wounds and she it like fucked up her jaw or something. But they both survived. And I don't know, it was just hard seeing the aftermath of that and then being okay with larger dogs. But also when I was in, I want to say middle school, one of my grandmother's friends had a black lab who started going blind because he was old, and I guess I startled him and he didn't know didn't know what I was doing because I guess I was in his blind spot while I was petting him, and he freaked out because, it's not like he was born blind. So he was like very much on edge. And he snapped at me and bit my hair. And basically, if I had not moved my head or if I'd been a little bit to the left, he would have bitten me in the face. And that just scared the crap out of me. So between that and what happened to my grandma, I'm just like very, very uneasy around dogs now. And I've had dogs before. Like my dad did get me two labs. My mom ended up giving them away because she said they were too big and too much trouble. But I did have them for a little bit. I did have a Chihuahua when I was younger, as well. So I've had. Did I only have three? I think maybe yeah, maybe I did actually only have three. But I have had dogs before. I even had larger dogs before. Um, And I know when I was younger and like obviously small, because I think I was still technically in elementary school, it was scarier to have the larger dogs like jumping at you because they were puppies, so they were, excited. But when the dog is the same size as you and they're excited and jumping up, it's not any fun. So that happened. Then there was grandmother's friend's dog snapping at my face. And then there was grandmother getting mauled by a dog. So I have just had this history of like unfortunate events with dogs. And it's not like I hate dogs. Like I don't have some kind of unreasonable hatred of dogs. I don't hate dogs. I don't. But I do have trauma surrounding them. So one can't just expect me to sit next to a Great Dane and start cuddling it and just be totally at ease and not have any fear or anxiety. Like, that's not realistic. So, unfortunately, I do have trauma connected to dogs. So I imagine this was so long winded. I'm so sorry. But I'm just saying, I imagine that you are in a similar boat with the whole goat thing because you have like actual, legitimate, real trauma with goats. So this is my long, drawn out way of saying I get it. I'm sorry, I talk too much. But that's my long, drawn out way of saying I totally get it. I have some animal trauma too. Like, I understand. It makes sense and everything. Like, I totally get it. It makes sense that you'd be uneasy around goats because you saw one literally, like, have it out for someone and attack her while she was down. So I totally get why you're traumatized. Is basically what I was saying, but I kind of said it in a really long-winded way. I was trying to relate to you and explain that I understand, but it kind of just came out really long-winded. My bad. It be like that sometimes. And I never said I wouldn't like Lucy. It helps that she's a baby and she's cute and she's playful. And she's really sweet too. I don't really like to be around dogs when they're barking, and I definitely don't like being around dogs that tend to be aggressive just because of my like past trauma with dogs. But Magic has said I have to know if it's a sheep or a baby goat to pet it since no horn. Yeah, obviously baby specimens are not going to be as developed, so they're not going to have all of the tools to fuck you up the way an adult would. This is true. But no, I don't dislike dogs wholesale. I just have issues with dogs. At least I have a legitimate reason to be uneasy. Like, I'm not just one of those people who just hates animals or hates dogs or whatever. You know, like shit happened to me and in my life that made me uneasy. So, not being an asshole. I love how we just go off on fucking tangents and talk about random shit sometimes, I swear. I mean, those often lead to the best conversations, I will say, but wow, we just kind of went off, huh? We just kind of went off. Ah, okay. Mm, no, hold on. There we go. You said when I move out, if I can't have Lucy back, I want to get a bear dog, Burmese mountain dog. Ooh, those are really pretty dogs. They're also really big, so prepare for that. Um, I feel like I shouldn't have to remind you, but some people kind of forget that big dogs are big and like don't take into account their size whilst planning for things. Isn't that one of the smarter dogs that needs tasks? Like they have to have something to do basically? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's one of the dogs that needs to have a job. Basically, some dogs are really like smart and task oriented, and they like basically need you to give them things to do, or they will fuck up all your shit. Because if you don't give them something to do, they will find something to do. Because they're dogs that have to have something to do. They're smart, they get bored, they have this restless energy, they need to be doing something. Like, that's just how they are. I feel like sometimes people don't realize that about certain breeds that they actually really do need to have something to do or they will fuck up all your shit. And people don't seem to realize that. And it's just like, no, no, that dog needs a task. That dog needs work. That dog is going to go crazy if you don't give it some shit to do. You said, don't worry, I have too many tasks for it since my leg is offline. That's probably one of the best ways I've seen someone, like the funniest and most inventive, I mean, ways that I've seen someone refer to not being able to use their leg. It's offline, you said. I love that description. Plus, you want to take it to service dog training. Yes! We love to see it. Dogs that need shit to do, I feel like, are absolutely perfect for service dog shit. Like, they just literally are. It's like it's their calling. Like, you know how some people are just made to be like bakers or priests or accountants or something? Yeah. There are breeds that literally just fucking thrive under those conditions, so have at it, my funky little siblings. I did not realize I didn't sell something. Oh well. Ha! You said the name is Bear, Brownie, or Hawks for the dog. Of course you want to name it Hawks. Of course. Okay, but can you imagine naming it Pox? So replace the H with a P. Wouldn't that be so cute? Because it's like paw and hawks together. It's like a little pun because, you know what? I don't think I really need to explain it. But isn't that cute? Wouldn't that be adorable? I'm sorry, I got really excited and this is not even my dog. I got so excited it is not even my damn dog. You said, yeah, chunky dog that just wants to be pleased. Oh, we're gonna craft 2 of these. Ba ba da ba 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 ba. All right. I have another post by Senzu. Actually, have I read this? Hold on. I've read that. Never mind. We've read that. You said not to mention the fur, I'd be coughing. Well, you win some, you lose some. Honestly, I might try to go find 6-second horror story or 6-second 6-sentence horror stories. Jesus. Also, it's getting awfully close to like break time, if you know what I mean. I don't know. I might not take a proper break. I may just go to the bathroom. Well, maybe I will. Maybe I will take a break. Because it's been 2 hours. Well, it will be in 3 minutes. Magic kept with the little sad goat. I love fun, but mom says to remove it from my clothes. You said it's a win-win. Oh, you love fur, you mean? Yeah, autocorrect. Okay. You love fur, but mom says to remove it from your clothes. Speaking of which, I knew someone that used to collect her pet's shed hair and like what's the word? Like knit stuff with it. Like you know how people will knit stuff with like wool? They would just dead ass knit stuff with their pet's hair and make like socks and scarves and shit from it when they collected enough. Isn't that wild? But technically you can do that. You can make clothing and blankets and shit out of any fur or hair that you can harvest as long as you know what to do with the material and how to get it into the right form for making things. You said new idea unlocked. For what? From what I said? Magic Cat? Waiting for Magic Cat to respond. You said Someone get pox. Gotta make a scarf off the fallen fur. Yes! Do it! I encourage you to. Also, can I just say I love Reddit names? This person's handle is false guarantee. Well, technically it's false guarantee 2040, but I just thought it was hilarious. False guarantee? Like what? I love that. Let's see. False Guarantee says, I'm back with a few ghost stories, not from me, but from my parents. These encounters happened well before I was born, but have definitely stuck with my folks. Number one, never again. Let's turn back the clock to the mid 70s. My mom was maybe 9 or so and at a friend's house for a sleepover. Why? We get to the second sentence and they're talking about a goddamn Ouija board. Ouija boards were very popular at the time, so of course this group of girls decides that's what they were going to do. They sat in front of this board and did your typical yes or no questions. My mom didn't take it very seriously, but they were having fun. She tells me she doesn't remember the question they asked, but they all let go of the pen. She said the board pendant, but I assume she means the planchette. Now the board is sitting on a flat surface, the floor, and they're sitting around it. A moment after they all let go, the pendant, quotes, again, I'm pretty sure she means planchette, flew across the board at my mom. No one touched it. There was no breeze or air movements, no logical reason for it to fly to her. They all stopped and went about doing anything else. They were obviously a bit freaked out. Oh, okay. I guess she means they basically tried to like overcorrect and act normal. My mom decided to never again play with one. In her opinion, they tend to force open the veil a bit too much and it risks something bad coming through. I had to, again, that's her mom's opinion. I had to sit through a TED talk about why we don't use boards for my mother when I was 10. Magic Hat said, when I'm not lazy, I'll try to get my main account back. Okay, cool. Number two story from the same posters is just called Nope, Nope, Nope. Turn back the clock again, though this time we're going to the 80s. My dad was at a friend's house, a simple, small place. He said he would meet him there after work. Time goes by, my dad gets there first. He decides to sit on the sofa and read while he's waiting. At some point, he hears his name coming from the vent on the wall near the sofa where he's sitting. He shrugged it off at first, maybe thinking his friend may have gotten back and was messing with him. So he ignores it. Not long after, he hears his name again, but louder. It doesn't sound like his friend, and he checked out the window. His friend's car isn't there. He looks around a moment. He sees a large shadow figure move from the kitchen to the hall right across from him. This shadow figure, which he states stood about 7 feet tall, had what looked like dark wings coming from it. A disembodied voice hollered his name again, very obviously coming from the figure. He wastes no time getting the fuck out of there. And to this day, he's never gone back to that house. My dad was getting visible goosebumps while telling me this story because it still freaks him out. These two are all I have for now. I'll be back with more later. I hope you enjoyed them. Keep looking out for my next post because the spirit in question has a story that spans several decades. Can't wait to tell you about the Hat Man in depth and his role in my life. Magic Cat's face. Oh, didn't even see that. My bad. You said wings, nah. But I thought you liked demons, Magic Cat. Don't you want to be friends? We just want to be friends. I see how it is. When it comes down to it, you're just a speciesist. Kidding. Hmm. Don't you want to play? Sorry, uh, I play too much. I shouldn't be messing with you. You said nope. All right, let me get some tea. There's another one. Fiance's first experience in my home. We'd love to hear what others have to say about it. By particular value, 9156. It was almost 30 days ago. It's at 26 days. So yeah, let me get some tea and then I'll read this. Ah. Says, hi all, here's some context first. I moved into my college home when I was 19 years old. The house was built in 1926. Nope, fuck that. That would definitely be haunted. I would never move into a house that old. And I live in a pretty sketchy area. ah. I'll hear, see, and feel things somewhat frequently in the home. It's an old house. I'll normally just say aloud that this is my home. I don't welcome anything negative here, whatever, whatever, and then I won't have any other experiences for a few months. I've only ever truly been scared inside the house once. I was in the bathroom getting ready for a date, and I saw and heard the doorknob jiggle like someone was trying to come in. I, 25F, assumed my fiance, 27M, was just picking on me. I opened the door and he wasn't there. He was in his office playing on the computer. Of course, he was playing on the computer. It's such a stereotypical thing. I've told my fiance multiple times about seeing and hearing things. I very frequently get the feeling on the back of my neck like someone is in the room with me when I'm alone or that I'm being watched. He always just laughs and never believes me. This makes me think about what I was telling you earlier about the fucking creeper that would just watch us in the bathroom or kitchen at the at our first apartment where I would crash. Yeah. Magic Hat said no, I just like the horns on demons. Anyway, told my fiance multiple times about seeing and hearing things. Very frequently get that feeling on the back of my neck like someone in a room, is in the room when I'm alone or that I'm being watched. He always just laughs and never believes me until this morning. We were both upstairs in bed. I was asleep. He was lying awake on his phone. Both of our dogs were asleep in bed as well. There was a loud thud at 3:30, maybe just before. It woke me and the dogs up. One of our dogs barked once and the second was growling. Fiance immediately jumped up and looked out the window. Didn't see anything. He stepped out of the room, and when he came back in, grabbed his gun and told me to call the cops. The look on his face when he came back in told me everything I needed to know. Someone was in our house. Called the cops. We both we both armed ourselves and we stayed on the line with the operator. He insisted he heard and felt someone walking around downstairs, so much so that he had me call the police, and he would never do that if he didn't genuinely think someone was there. Took me less than five, excuse me, took less than 5 minutes. Somehow I added extra words, my bad, for three cops to arrive, and they had us meet them on the front porch. They came through and cleared the whole house other than the room that had dogs in it. Nothing. Couldn't find anything that could have made the noise. All of the doors were dead bolted. Nothing downstairs was touched. Robot vacuum was stuck in the corner, but it wouldn't have made a noise that loud, and I went and checked the app and it had shut off at 3 on the dot. We looked everywhere ourselves, couldn't find anything or replicate the noise at all. He stood at the top of the steps and had me walk through the house, and he said, God, why can't I talk? Do I need a break? He stood at the top of the steps and had me walk through the house, and he said it sounded exactly like it when I was walking, as if I was trying to sneak through, coming from the living room into the dining room. We can't explain it at all. We're used to hearing bangs and stuff from outside and creaks in the house because it's old, but he said it sounded and felt exactly like someone walking around downstairs. And the initial thud sounded like someone slamming one of our doors with a vibration through the house, if that makes sense. Yeah, that does make sense, because, like, if you think about it, if you've ever slammed a door, you know how it kind of, like, shakes the frame and makes the air ring? That's what they're talking about. This is what I'm saying. Like, sounds can't really be mistaken for one another. So when someone is like, oh, that's not steps, that's the pipes, I'm always like, or you're just a moron, because those are two different things. Because they don't sound the same. They don't. Anyway, da, 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 da. We do have cameras that didn't pick up any movement, unfortunately. One more thing to note. He and I had just talked on Sunday afternoon about how I'm convinced the house is haunted, and he denounced it entirely. So what are the odds that this would happen at 3:30 the following morning when only he is awake? Is it taunting him? Has anyone experienced anything similar? Oh, I forgot I had an extra net. Whoopsie. Okay. If you're a cop, would you be annoyed responding to this call? We felt so bad and they probably think we're crazy. I mean, better safe than sorry. It's just a false alarm. Like, I would rather y'all call thinking someone's there and it be nothing than y'all not call and it be someone who, like, murders both of you. I'm just saying, like, y'all did the right thing. In this instance, the police did exactly what they are supposed to do. That's what they're fucking meant for. So no, you shouldn't feel bad. That's their job. It's their job. Why should you feel bad about them doing their job? If they don't want to do it, then they shouldn't be cops. That's what they're there for. They're supposed to protect and serve. They haven't been doing a great job the past few decades, or ever really. But in this instance, they did exactly what they're meant to do. This is their job. This is why they're here. This is why they exist. So that if you are scared because you think someone is invading your home, they will come and help you. That's their whole purpose for existing. They are serving their purpose. You do not need to feel guilty. Period. I mean, when you get sick, do you feel guilty that the doctor has to treat you? They're just doing their job, man. If they didn't want to do it, then they shouldn't be in that profession. It's common sense. There are comments on this post, but hold on. There we go. Interesting maybe said he didn't believe and they saw it as a challenge. Does he believe you now? This is what I'm saying. Like, I feel like they did that specifically for him. Like they were putting his nose in it. Like, do you think we're real now? Honestly, if I was a ghost or a spirit, I would definitely be that petty. Not gonna lie. Yeah, I would be that petty. I would. It's like you're really gonna question my existence and my power and my place? Yeah. I would be a petty ass spirit. I'm not even sorry. It was a little petty of the spirit, but honestly, relatable. Really? Why'd the damn thing swim away? Whatever. I thought I saw bubbles for a second. Okay. Maybe I didn't see what I thought I saw. Those two are for blathers, which is why I left them there. But yeah, let me just take this back. Oh, the pumpkins grew back in? I'll have to pick those then. Excuse me. Magic Cat sent a puppy face, then said, my cat crying and scratching at the door. Then you told me to take a break, and then you said not surprised, although I'm not sure what the not surprised goes to. Anyway, OP answered Interesting Man and said, "That's what I told him. As soon as the police left and we walked around ourselves trying to replicate the noise, I said, I told you I wasn't crazy," and he laughed and agreed. He had a few unexplained experiences in the past, but never in our home. Interesting Man said, "I'm glad he believes you. My husband didn't really believe me when I said I had experiences in his parents' house until he had one. Now he agrees there's definitely something there. I think what you say is good though, because you're asserting that it's your space and whatever's there has to respect it. Jesus. Okay, so yeah, Magic Cat problem. The comment about you being a ghost. Oh yeah, me being petty. Yeah, I would be super petty about it. No. Oh, botheration. There we go. That one guy says, "I'm a police officer and can always say call the cops if you think someone may be in your house. Better to be safe than sorry." See, that's what I said. Well, I mean, not the being a cop part, but the if you think you could be in danger and that someone has broken in to call. Yeah. I mean, 10 and 10. Okay, so I did get all of it. Ooh, there's a ladybug. Ha! Oh, for. Okay. Magic has said, "Why do I feel like I'd be a sad ghost?" I don't know, but I'm kind of. I feel bad that I laughed. I feel like people wouldn't even know you're there because you'd be so anxious about accidentally making someone uncomfortable because you're so nice that you're too nice. And I feel like you'd never end up haunting someone because you'd be worried about how they'd feel about it or something. Meanwhile, I'm over here like, "Oh, I'd be a petty bitch." He said valid. Where did it go? Mm, okay, whatever. There's something I have to drop off at my house and then I'll go back and get the rest of the stuff. Okay, let's see. Oh, this isn't that long. Salty Night. I love Reddit names. Salty Night 5917. I don't know why, but that's just so funny to me. My personal ghost story. God, some of the titles are shit though. We moved into a duplex house that had been vacant since the owner died. We don't know if she died there or not. I feel like maybe you should figure that out and maybe like how she died. At first, my partner and I would notice the kitchen lights would go off or on while we were in the living room. Then the light panel covering the bulb would come off and bounce noisily in the kitchen. This happened several times. Okay, that's definitely a little weird. My partner nailed it back on, so that was the end of that. Okay, but can you imagine if he nailed it on and they go in there and it's just been ripped out of the wall? I'd fucking leave right then. I would be napping and I would hear footsteps with hard soles and the garage opening. I realized my partner only wore soft soled shoes. I was sitting in the living room and I could see down the hallway and would see a mist or a cloud or smoke drifting from the spare bedroom to the master bedroom. I was napping in my bed and felt someone sit next to me and the mattress went down. Later, my daughter felt this and so did my partner. The stronger vibes began during Thanksgiving. I have these two old lamps that were at my grandparents' house. Okay, they're beautiful, but I don't turn them on because of the old wiring, but they were plugged in. Wait, if you don't turn them on anyway, why are they plugged in? This seems like a bad idea. During Thanksgiving, I saw my daughter looking in the mirror and the one lamp near her turned on. Then, on my birthday, which was a week after Thanksgiving, my partner and I are in bed asleep, and at 3 a.m., the other light comes on. We sat up and looked around, both of us annoyed, and he got out of bed and turned off the light. Then he gets back into bed and we start to sleep, but the light comes back on in about 2 minutes. This time he gets out of bed and takes the light bulb out. Okay, but if it lights up again, y'all need to leave right then. um, Now, the previous lamp that turned on when my daughter was there, I called her and asked if she turned the light on. She said no, it just came on, and she thought it was set up through a system to turn on. We don't live there anymore. So I guess she thought it was like on what are they called? There's like Hue and Govee Home and Google and fucking what is the thing? Alexa and different shit that can turn your lights on. I guess she thought it was set up like that, but it's not. Apparently, it's not even modern enough to be set up that way, so that's fun. What about Magic Cat? What'd you say? Magic Cat said, I feel like I would be around family, especially my love, or just keep kids company if they feel alone or are having a shit time. Meanwhile, you would be scaring the world. Excuse you? I would only scare people who I feel deserved it. I wouldn't just scare some poor, random, innocent person. I'd scare people who should be feeling scared. Just saying. Yes, I basically just admitted that if I was a ghost, I'd fuck with people if I thought they deserved it. I mean, yes and no. I'm not just gonna haunt some random person for no reason. I feel like pure, true terror, there are people who deserve to feel that, but I don't want to scare people just to scare people for no reason. I feel like they would need to deserve it. Ah. This is such a weird conversation to have because we're talking about how we would probably act as a ghost. Like this is just so weird. This is a weird conversation. Here for your break reminder. Yeah, it has been almost 2.5 hours. I guess when it's properly at 2.5, I'll take a break. How about that? Will that satisfy you, Magic Cat? If I take a break then? I have indeed, yes. I have been here for over 2 hours. Because originally I was like, huh, maybe I should just push through to 3 hours and then get off. But if I take a break, I could stay here longer. So I might just take a break so that I can stay here for longer. Because if I take a break at 2.5 hours, Like if I take a 20 or 30-minute break, then I could just stay on for 2 to 2.5 more hours. I don't know. We'll see. We did get invested in random conversations, but at least most of them are like related. Like the conversation of how we'd potentially act as ghosts makes sense because, it is supposed to be like a spooky broadcast, like a spooky stream. So it's still in the theme of things. It's not like we just went off on a tangent about pie. At least it's related. Let's see. I love Reddit names. Curious Cup 7494. Bless. This is kind of old. It's from 28 days ago, so almost a whole month. But it's just labeled my boyfriend's experience. So this thing has been happening for quite a while, but throughout the year. But during these months of the year from these past 2 years, Jesus Christ, I feel like I had an aneurysm reading that sentence. My BF's cousin died 5 years ago, and since then he was dreaming that his cousin is calling for him and wants to take my BF with him. Fuck that. I don't think I like that. Uh, no, I don't like that. But last year when we were driving home, my BF saw a young boy dressed in white standing in the middle of the road. He asked if I could see him, but I couldn't. Since then, whenever he's driving, he sees the boy in front of his car or running alongside it. It gets so bad that one day when he was on call, the signal cut off and even his GPS stopped working. Then after winter, it was all good. But this happened again just today. This sounds problematic. I love how Magic Cat said as a ghost she would panic if people could see her. Um, all of this stuff sounds really problematic with what's going on. Then after winter it was all good, but this happened again just today. He was parked at his driveway and saw the boy standing in front of his car as if reaching those months again. What do you mean? As in like as if they were occurring again? I'm sorry, it's kind of hard to understand all of what this person means. One day while doing Uber, he picked up a customer who confessed that he saw the same boy in white. I have no idea how to help him. I live in Canada. Any similar experiences would help a lot. What on earth? Something about his. Wow, that's just weird. That's weird. Why does it sound like his cousin wants him to die too? Magic Hat said banish it. Still have 3 minutes. Oh, well. This one just says no, it wasn't sleep paralysis by Mr. Random A. I was 10. One night I woke up and turned my light on. I was still living with my parents and they were asleep. I left my room, got a drink of water, and went back to bed. Once in my bed, I turned off the light and there was a child all in white floating next to my bed. I was terrified, and the first thing I did was to talk to it. I said hi, and it said hello back. That was the moment I realized it wasn't me seeing things, it was real. I covered my face, and after 2 minutes, I checked to see if it was there. It was still there, just staring directly back at me. What the hell? I went back under my blanket, me being 10, thinking it would protect me, and I passed out. I love that he just goes back to sleep. He's like, man, fuck this. I just a reminder, I could move, I sat up, so I wasn't in sleep paralysis. That's all there is to it, but I'm just like, It was just staring at you. You said hi, it said hi back, and then you just stared at each other. That's so awkward. You said, man, that made you sad. The cousin thing? Yeah, made me sad too. Giving you too many emotions? How? You're more sad about the BF part. What do you mean? Also, this is the last thing I'm gonna pull up for right now, just because I need to take my break. Do I even have room for... I do have room for this. And then I have to stop, yeah. Because I have been all squished up. I need to go to the restroom. I need to walk around. I don't think I need to make more stuff to drink, though. You said, 1 second I'm sad, the other seems to be a wholesome ghost moment. That's the thing. Some of the ghost stories are pretty wholesome, but some of them are, like, dark as shit, so. And there's, like, no in between. Are we allowed to place things here? Oh, we are. Okay. I didn't realize we were allowed to place things here. The poor ghost might have stood for a while, you said. Honestly, sometimes I do feel bad for the ghost, but until it realized the kid fell asleep. I have no idea. I wasn't sure if that one was wholesome or not, but it was funny that they just said hi to each other, then just stared at each other. That was a little funny. Like, just a little bit, you know. Okay. I'm gonna leave her here. Alright. I'm gonna put it on the main menu, and I will be back. Oh, God. I've been crunched up for so long. Phew. Alright. I'll be back. Alright, lovelies, I'll be back after I take care of the groceries that just arrived, but my break is over, so I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay. I did not think I would have to do whatchamacallit groceries just then. Sorry. There we go. At least it wasn't far past the estimate I gave, or not too far. Yeah. Anyway, let's see. This sounds sort of wholesome. Comforting conversation with dead brother at bus stop. Ooly 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 posted this. Huh. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So anyway, my husband came home. He brought home groceries, and like that's what I was doing. That's what I was dealing with because I had taken my break, and then during my break he came home, so I had to put the groceries up. Anyway, Uli said for some context of this, I was 7 when my older brother had passed away at the age of 18. Oh, that's sad. On my 7th birthday, no less. Oh, that's extra sad. My mom has had experiences ever since he passed where she thinks she sees him on the street, etc. Though I never have. Until a few years ago. Was thinking about it after someone was talking about how they were almost sure they had walked past their dead grandfather on a busy street. I was about 16 or 17. I'm 21 in January, alone for the very first time, going through the Denver bus station around Christmas time. Being alone there scared the hell out of me. It was my trip back home, and I was not digging being in the city Greyhound station at 10 p.m. I'd sat on the ground by where the bus was supposed to come and started reading a book. While I was sitting down reading, a guy asked if he can put his stuff near me and sit too. I said yes and didn't mind to even look up. I didn't talk to men, no less at the bus stop, though I finally looked up when he started a conversation. He looked exactly like my brother and sounded exactly like him too. He asked where I was going and how the holidays went. The conversation somehow had hit a lot of points of my life up to when he had passed, like how I had moved up to the mountains and he wished he could go see that mountain town. Oh, this is making me sad. This is making me sad, y'all. He talked about missing his girlfriend and asked if I had a partner. This is so emotional. I was actually coming home from spending a few days with my first girlfriend and her family. He high fived me for liking girls too. Very on character for what my brother would have done. We talked about how I was starting to teach myself guitar, which I was doing because my brother had, etc. Oh, I'm gonna cry. It was hard not to cry while talking to him. And his bus was the one that came before mine, and he said goodbye and left. I did not get his name. He never said where he was going, only said he was from a small town in northern Colorado, of which me and my brother also are, and that was it. I came home and cried in my mom's bed for hours. It was such a surreal experience. I'm wondering if that kind of thing has happened to anyone else. Obviously, I've heard of people thinking they've seen their dead family member, but not having an entire conversation for at least 30 minutes. Oh my god. That really got me, not gonna lie. That one made me really emotional, especially thinking about how close I am to my brother and how much I love my brother, and then them talking about how their brother had died and just um them saying they saw him at the bus stop and him basically doing what you would think a brother catching up with their sibling would do. Wow. I don't know. That was just wow. Okay, Magic Cat. I wasn't sure if you were still there. Hold on. Okay. Let's see. Pink Daisy Lemon said, "Oh wow, did you mention your brother to him? Did you ask him any specific things that your brother would know?" I don't know why, but my brain my brain said glitch in the matrix. I mean, we do all have a twin out there. I don't know. It's just eerie. Even if it was just a look-alike, that's just eerie. Ulio said, "No, not in the moment. The one thing that really got me freaked out is him mentioning not only my hometown, but also the town I moved to in the mountains after that. He said them first, not me. It was wild." I kind of wonder, would it be like possible for him to have perhaps a twin that got separated at birth, or just something crazy but possible, or even like a half sibling that's a dead ringer for him? Honestly, even though it could be a paranormal encounter, I'm also thinking of the like real life drama that it could be too. Like, I guess it could be their brother's ghost, but also imagine if their brother had a half brother that looks exactly like him. That would be wild, right? Because that's a like non supernatural explanation as well, and I don't know. Wow. Either way, I guess it's still a meaningful encounter because even if it wasn't actually their brother, it was like they got to talk to their brother again. Still wholesome, but also really sad. I don't know. It made me emotional, like I said. Wow. Hmm. What was it you couldn't resist, Magic Cat? Oh, you couldn't resist your cat. I know, it's the cute little eyes. It's the eyes. Hold on. Let me get this fish. Come on. Come on. Oh, damn it. I did it too fast. I thought they were going to go for it. Sometimes I screw it up because I think they're going to go for it and then they don't. Anyway, weird banging at 3 a.m. Love that that's the immediate follow up to this. What'd you say, Magic Cat? MF keeps looking at the door. Sad goat. What, are you afraid there's a spirit at the door? What? How did I lose both fish? Whatever. Whatever that was, it was more powerful than a human and was replying to my voice. We were walking around late at night and came across a deer stomping at us. Then we heard a bang coming from a shed. I feel like they could have prefaced that they were outside before they said that, but whatever. I said out loud, this is something of a higher power, and whatever it was banged again, leading us to a shed in the middle of nowhere. What? This feels so random. Lately, we've been going to churches and graveyards. What? This feels so random. I don't know if that's the reason or if it's our friend that recently passed away, but I could feel the energy of how powerful this thing was. What? This sounds so dumb. And also, like, what's the word? Scatterbrained. I don't know. It was just weird. Let's see. What's this? Lovettville? Okay. Blood Red Pitch Black posted this. I believe in science. It's the only thing capable of answering all of our questions. Really? Why did it click out of it? Stop. Given enough time. But I have wrestled for decades at this point with the memory of what took place in that upstairs room on a moonlit night in a creaking old farmhouse far out in the Virginia countryside. Oh, so this is a skeptic saying whatever happened shook them enough that they are actually questioning their beliefs. Whatever it was I experienced on that cold night, it was categorically not a hallucination. I was not somehow the originator of the event. Can you just tell us what happened instead of being pedantic and obnoxious? It descended on me out of the darkness with zero regard for the rules of nature or logic. Blah, 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 blah. Jesus Christ, dude. Anyway, let me just skip past this entire paragraph because they're just being obnoxious. Often, when I think about this very peculiar event from all those years ago, I go to the computer and fire up Google Maps. Something in me needs to make sure the house where this happened is still there. Okay, and hasn't been bulldozed to make way for a condos or a shopping center. So far, Google has left me reassured. There's the horse barn at the end of a long driveway. Okay, there's a little circular horse track next to the barn, and right next to both is the familiar L-shaped roof line. The house is still there, just more and more occluded by maple trees each year. Okay. How long are you gonna go on about the fucking house? Jesus, dude. This is so obnoxious. This is just... Oh my god, dude, this is so obnoxious. I'm just going to summarize each paragraph because he just goes on and on about the same thing. He just says the same thing 5 different times. So this paragraph, he's talking about how he's lucky that he was young, healthy, and sound of mind and body, and that he didn't drink, basically, that he wasn't on like drugs or anything. Then he's talking about how he was in college and oh, this is why this is so wordy, redundant, and pedantic. He says he's a software engineer. Is one of those people who's really fucking smart but doesn't know how to talk like a normal person and is just like super like book smart and technical smart but has no common sense. That's why this goes on and on. Anyway, let's see. This is another paragraph of him saying he didn't have mental health issues. I guess to like stress that hey, I'm not crazy, but I feel like you could have just said I swear I'm not crazy and like moved on. Okay, it was a weekend away from me back when this happened. Okay, good. Finally get into the details. My aunt and uncle were living in the old house as renters. Okay, I'd driven out there to take a weekend break from college and also to get away from my parents for a couple of days. I was living in their basement at the time to save money. No shame in that. No shame. Cost of living has gone up and wages have stayed the same or, in some cases, gone down. So, you know, back then, the part of the state where the old house sat was considered more remote than it is today. It was still relatively isolated and got very dark at night. Okay? Now he's just saying the house is old as balls. You don't really need to know all the details about it. He just kind of waxes poetic about all the historic details. Since there was a large family gathering planned for the next morning, a small handful of other relatives stayed in the house the same night I did. Okay. But they all slept in other rooms, so nothing happened to them. And then he's just basically explaining what side of the house he stayed on. He's explaining the whole fucking geography of the house. Y'all don't need to know that. Um, why is there a whole paragraph dedicated to describing the bed? Dude, learn to prioritize details. I'm so frustrated. Mm, okay, this part we probably do need to know. Immediately as you walk into the little room, there's a bed to the right. The bed was situated so if someone was asleep on it when you walked in, their head would be on the pillow just a few inches from your right thigh. Walking further into the room, you would eventually reach their feet. Okay, so those details are relevant. Um, then another step and you bump into the bureau against the wall. The room has two windows near to each other down at the end of the room. One was right over the bureau and the other was in the adjacent wall. Okay. All right, let's see. I remember we had a happy but uneventful evening that night. We ate dinner and watched a few movies in the living room. Okay. When it was very late, everyone said goodnight and went to their separate rooms. This is the first time I've had to go through and like fucking summarize everything. Let's see. I was in bed but wasn't asleep yet. There was either a full moon or nearly a full moon. And now he's waxing poetic about the fucking moonlight coming through the window. All the lights in the house were off. I remember still being able to clearly see the outline of my feet and make out the bureau a few feet beyond. Okay, that's kind of establishing how dark it is, so, okay. Let's see. Finally, I did drift off, but then woke up suddenly again not long after. This time there was no moonlight. Okay. The room was pitch black. I could no longer make out the shape of the bureau or the outline of my feet. For some reason, I could still see my hand perfectly well when I held it up in front of my face, but the rest of the room had gone so dark that I felt the need to wave my hand in front of my face to make sure I hadn't gone blind. Okay, that's actually relevant. There was a buzzing sensation in my head. I remember thinking I was not able to hear anything over this buzzing, but just a few moments after thinking that, I distinctly heard a person walk in the room through the door next to me. Magic Cat sent a little face. I assume you think I'm being a dick, but good God, this was obnoxious. Hold on. Reading this has been a fucking journey. Let's see. Let's see. Whoever it was, they came right in through the door just a few feet from me. I remember I heard them take 2 or 3 steps into the room and come up to the side of the bed where I was laying. I clearly heard the sound of legs swishing back and forth under several layers of clothes, like a heavy skirt and apron worn over a few layers of. Really? Did you really have to describe historical garments too? Jesus. I was absolutely not hearing the cat, the furnace, or anything like that, and it couldn't have been any of the women in my family. Okay. None of them dress like that. They all wear blue jeans, but someone was in several layers of heavy skirts. Okay. I'll never forget that sound. Blah, 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 blah. And now he's talking about how scared he was. Exactly. Reading this has been harder than I thought it would be because this guy is just so freaking obnoxious. Yay! Nom nom food now? Oh, okay. Wow. He always does this. Okay. I mean, I'm not stopping you. Magic Cat, what do you mean you're invited? No. I just meant, why do you always have to, like, interrupt it? I don't know. I mean, granted, the guy's obnoxious and I've been summarizing half of it anyway, but. Where the hell did this stupid thing go? Okay, so this is long-winded too, but he's saying he remembers thinking it was a female relative of his playing a prank on him. So he punched into the. Wait, why would you punch one of your female relatives? This is not flattering, dude. This doesn't make sense. He said, I thought it was one of my female relatives, so I threw a punch? What? What? No, that's not okay. Okay, well, I can't tell where this thing is. I can't believe. I... Okay. Then he's saying his fist went through the person and nothing was there where someone should have been standing. Then he's basically saying he was frozen in place. Again, this dude thought he was writing an entire Charles Dickens novel or some shit. He spent an entire paragraph saying, I didn't know what to do, so I laid there. I literally cannot make this up. He could have said this in one sentence. Bruh's writing like he's getting paid per word. Now he's just saying he was looking at the ceiling and that he started praying. And that he just laid there until the buzzing stopped. And then he went back to sleep. Oh my god, this was so obnoxious. To summarize, he really could have said this in like in one paragraph. There was no need for this to be a novel. Then he's just said, I never spent another night in the house, and then my aunt and uncle moved to another house. And then he's talking about how he told his friends, and that's it. That's the story. God, all that for him to say a ghost popped up next to his bed. This was the most drawn out, obnoxious, redundant. I'm crying. It really wasn't that deep. Magic Cat, you said you want to num num too. Well, I'm not sharing my food. Sorry, it's mine. That's rough, bud. What do you mean rude? Nah, there's only enough for me, because my husband got his food, and then he got some for me. There's not enough for a third person. You're gonna have to find something else to eat. I don't know what you're gonna be eating, but you gotta find something else. It's not gonna be mine. I'm gonna try to get this, and I guess I'll just swap it out with the seaweed. Yes, finally. What is it? Oh, it's an octopus. Okay. I love how you said you need this guy to write your essays. For real, he'll pad out the word count. Maybe you can have him get your food while he's at it. I just sent the sad goat emote. I don't really care about the seaweed, so... There we go. Return it to the sea. Now I have to go sell all this crap. She's struggling. She's struggling. I really do wish I could make her swim faster, but alas, we're not meant for that. Do you not have any of your snacks, Magic Cat? Because normally you go to the corner store or whatever and get snacks. God, this is taking forever. I forgot how long the distance was. I think we can... Nope. Well, we're not going to fit this way. You're going to have to go into the water just to swim 2 feet. This is so dumb. Okay. Oh. What is it with these spaces where it looks like she can fit and then she just doesn't fit? What'd you say? You said, "Man, I'd rather have my BF than a random man that will act like he's writing a poem." This is true. Dude! He said it's delicious. Of course I said, am I not allowed to say dude? What am I supposed to say then? Dudette? You're not a dudette. Huh? I don't know what you said. Aw, you got me cheese wonton? Why? You leave my goddamn cheese wonton alone. You don't even like cheese. No, the fuck you won't. Give me 10 minutes. You better be kidding. Leave my cheese wonton alone. Bullying. Magic Cat said no snacks or dinner. Magic was too sick to buy snacks. Oh yeah, you were sick. I forgot about that. My bad. My bad. I'm not laughing at her sickness. I'm laughing because I forgot she was sick. Literally that fast. Bro, we talked about it today. I forgot already. I mean, you said you were feeling better, so it probably just left my mind. It's not like you were suffering. Yeah, I forgot for 2 seconds that you said earlier you were saying. Magic has said, you see how your wife treats me? What's that supposed to mean? I treat you well enough. I just didn't share food because I want it all for myself. It's not like you'll starve. I'm not mean! Magic Cat'll be fine, I'm sure. I'm not starving her. She has her own family's food. Or what have you. Don't you? Even if you don't, it's not like I can actually get you food. We're too far away. I can play sad violin music for you, though. I don't know if you heard him, but he said that I'm a bitch. I didn't expect you to say something that mean to me. Magic Cat said you're valid. Y'all are ganging up on me. I'm being bullied. This is discrimination. Mm. What about the person that's sick? Mm. No! Why would you eat my food too? You have your own. Mm. I told you, discrimination. What do you mean you gotta back a brother up? Fuck you. You're supposed to have solidarity with me, not him. Why are you ganging up on me? The disrespect. Mm. I can't believe this. Just been discriminated against. Uh, he said he would throw his dirty sock at me. You're gross. Magic Cat said, so are we sharing? He asked if you mean the sock or the food. I I feel like the answer's obvious, but why did she sent a dog head? I don't know what that means. What does the dog head mean? She said you can keep your crusty sock. Fuck off! Why are you throwing it at me? She's the one that. What do you mean I'm mean? I'm not mean. Mm. I'm discriminated against. They're bullying me. Alright. Magic Cat going suspiciously silent. Mean. Uh, are you implying that you won't want to share the food if there's vegetables in it? Yes, there's vegetables. Although, I guess if you're a little carnivore like he is, then you can eat the chicken out of it. He got hibachi. Eh. Anyway, I'm gonna go so I can eat. I can't believe I've been just harassed and bullied and discriminated against. You've been so cruel to me. Yeah, I know. Even I think I sound full of shit. But anyway. Anyway, see you next time, Magic Cat. I guess I can share a little bit of the food. Wait, what'd you say? I'm like a vampire but against vegetables. What? So you're a carnivore? Question mark? Are you calling yourself a carnivore? Anyway. I see you next time. Nasty. Bye, Magic Cat. Eat your vegetables.